Hey guys, how's it going? Wanted to get this video out because I think I'm finally done prototyping my latest knife design, and it is the Harvester. And this knife is a lightweight hunting and EDC knife. You could also use it fishing. Kind of just meant to be a easy to carry knife with a lot of versatile carry options. And so real quick, it's not a big knife, it's not a big survival knife, although it's constructed still for the full tang and built the same way I build all my other knives. And with this new Pops Pro Cut steel, you could definitely abuse this thing without an issue. It comes with a 27-degree edge, so it's a pretty good edge for slicing and skinning. It's 3/32 steel. It has the index control point still, which is a great way if you're just going to use kind of this front inch of the blade, kind of really get your finger up there and make those nice accurate cuts. Also has the ferro rod scraper notch still. This particular one has orange and black AmeriGrip handles, which is basically alternating layers of G10 and nitrile rubber. So it gives a nice kind of tacky grip to it. And on this one I did a dual lanyard tube, and production models it'll just have the single lanyard tube, but I did G10 lanyard tube to kind of save weight. And it has a stainless loveless bolt holding both sides, and then I go in and I skeletonize the tang to reduce the weight. And so I've been carrying this knife for 3 or 4 months, and like I said, I originally built it as like a hunting and fishing knife, but the size actually makes for a really nice EDC knife, and I'll go over kind of how that happens here in a minute. The sheath that comes with it is Kydex. It's a taco style sheath, and then I use this coated webbing, and I really love this material. I'm using it on my other sheaths as well. And this belt loop, I go ahead and put an extra set of holes in it, so you get multiple carry options here. As it's set up right now, it's set up to kind of be more of a drop sheath, so this works great. You can hang it off your normal pants belt, and then if you're hiking and got a pack with a big hip belt on it, it drops the handle far enough so it's not gouging you in the side. You can also take this Chicago screw loose and drop the sheath down to the center hole, and that gives you like a normal 2-inch belt loop. And then also you can route this strap through molly webbing and bolt it down, and I'll send an extra Chicago with it, and I'll show you what that looks like here too. Okay, some quick specs on the knife. It's made from Pops Pro Cut, which is a high carbon steel that's been developed specifically for knives. And if you haven't checked out my 2x4 chop video, you'll want to see that because it's pretty impressive stuff. It's hardened to 64 HRC, so it has really good edge retention. It's 7 1/4 inches overall, with a 3 1/4 inch continuously curved cutting edge, which is great for skinning and kind of popping hides off animals, and it just gives you a great cutting edge. Like I said, it's full tang construction, 1/4 inch stainless loveless with a G10 lanyard tube. The weight, this setup right here is 3.5 ounces, and then an optional upgrade is you can swap. For EDCs, you can take this strap off and actually put an ulti clip on it, which makes it great for carrying in your front pocket. I really like that, just like you would a pocket knife. And these ulti clips, if you haven't used one before, they're pretty impressive. So it's 3.5 ounces with this sheath, and if you change it out to the ulti clip, that raises it about 1/2 ounce. So the base model for this would basically be plain Kydex, not the Topo Kydex. This stuff's more expensive. So it'd be solid color Kydex with standard G10 handles. That'll come in at about $190. And then depending on different upgrades, if you want an ulti clip, if you want AmeriGrip handles, if you want the fancier Kydex, those are all different options. And with all those options, it'll raise the price to $225. And of course, it's 100% made by me, a Marine combat vet right here in Montana. And if you're kind of interested, if you have one of my bush hunter knives, here's Here's a Gen 2. You can kind of see the size difference here from a, you know, large belt knife to this knife here. So anyways, if you're interested, these will be over on my shop. Feel free to shoot me an email with any questions. Thanks for watching. Okay, so real quick, let's just talk about the different styles of carry for this sheath. If you've watched most of my videos or know much about my knife designs, I really like a good versatile sheath as well. And so this is kind of set up as a drop sheath to lower the handle so that it'll clear your pack hip belt. This would be mounted at your normal pants belt, and then your hip belt should ride up here. And so you can see all I've done is I've taken one Chicago, ran it through the uppermost rivet and through the lower set of holes on this strap, and that gives you kind of the maximum amount of drop you can get. Okay, so the next style of carry is just going to be your kind of standard belt carry. Here I've got a loop on it. This is about a 2 1/4 inch opening, so it should fit over a belt, you know, up to about 2 1/4 inches in width. And all I've done is I'm utilizing both Chicagos now, and I've ran it through the upper and lower holes on the side of the sheath here. Okay, next let's talk about how to set your sheath up for MOLLE carry. And so you'll notice that on the strap there's 2 sets of holes, identical holes. So basically on one of the upper holes, you're going to go ahead and bolt that through just one side on the uppermost rivet. And then the next, I'll show you how we're going to route this through the MOLLE. Okay, so first you're going to pick, you want to be at least one MOLLE, I guess you'd say web down. And you're going to run underneath, and then you're going to turn around, you're going to flip the strap through, and you're going to run it all the way down to the bottom. Don't worry about weaving it in and out like you normally would on MOLLE, and we're going to bring it out through this lower hole. Okay, so I've got my strap ran under the first webbing here, up over the top of the next one, and then all the way down and popped it out the bottom. And now I just need to run my Chicago screw through and bolt it down on both sides. Okay, so here I've finished installing it. You can see it's very secure, doesn't flop around really, and gives you a nice easy place to mount the knife on a MOLLE panel. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and talk about kind of the last method of carry. This is going to be what I call EDC style, where basically we're going to put this ulti clip on and we're going to utilize the Chicagos. And right now I don't have them tightened all the way up. You can see the amount of adjustment there. And then you could even remove this screw completely and move the ulti clip all the way up this lower slot onto this one to give you a lot of drop for really deep concealment if you want to hide basically the whole knife in your pocket. And I'll put some pictures in here of kind of what this looks like when you're wearing it. But essentially this knife now sits inside your front pants pocket, just like a pocket knife would. And really makes, I actually prefer carrying this anymore over a folding knife. And you would think a fixed blade would be an uncomfortable knife, but this knife is sized right to where you don't really notice it hardly at all. You can drive with this on, you can walk around with it, you can pretty much wear it all day long, and it stays fairly concealed in your front pocket. And like I said, if you want to really conceal it, you can drop this, you can bring this ulti clip up to the first screw here and drop it another inch. Of course that's going to make drawing the knife a little more, you know, a little more tricky, but right now the way this is set up, essentially your pocket would sit about like this, and so you just have this much sticking up. But that makes it, I really like this because, you know, a good knife is an investment, and unless you're hunting all year long, it's kind of nice to get more use out of a high dollar hunting knife, so to speak. And so something like this, you can carry it every day quite easily. This is actually how I carried it during hunting season, and it just fit right down in my pocket nice and tight. Very comfortable, great way to carry the knife. And of course this is reversible for right or left hand carry. So yeah, pretty simple there, nothing too wild. But anyways, thanks for watching.